Welcome back. We are here today. We're at this week's leadership table, and this is a topic we're going to be talking about, the 5 levels of leadership. This has been a framework that has been very eye-opening, very life-changing, and over a long period of time has really aided me in knowing what to focus on and to know exactly where I am in this leadership journey and to know what my very next steps have been. I wish that someone was able to share this with me a lot sooner. So here, you're going to see this today, and I'm really excited for us to dive into this. This is and we just want to remember that leadership is the skill of influence. It's nothing more and it's nothing less. So we all have influence. Every man, woman, and child has influence. The question is, are we using that influence to lead others to Christ? So this is what we want to do at this leadership table. We want to see how could we leverage our influence, cultivate that influence, and lead people to Jesus as a result. So what I really like about this framework is I've been studying about leadership. I've been studying about building a team since 2014, but it wasn't until about 2016 that I really began diving deeper into the subject and understanding a lot of the things that I was missing. And in searching and studying, there's a lot of different avenues. There's a lot of different directions and branches of skills and knowledge that you can go into, and it could get pretty overwhelming. But this particular framework is able to just kind of put all of the different pieces together in a very step by step manner, and it really simplifies things. This is really helpful when we understand this. So let's look at the first level of leadership is level 1. And for those who may remember, what is a level 1 leader based on? And it starts with a P.
Position.
Position. Good job. Yes, position. So this is the lowest level of leadership. It's the position. It is that people follow you because they have to. It's because you have a position. You're a manager, you are a director, you are something of that nature. So people feel obligated to follow you. But this is the lowest level. A lot of people think that because I don't have a position, because I don't have a title, therefore I'm not a leader. But question, could someone in an organization have no title but actually have more influence among the people than someone who has a title?
Yes.
Absolutely. We see it all the time. And it just, again, that if leadership is influence, then leadership has almost nothing to do with your position, and it has everything to do with the influence that we exert on others. So recognizing that you don't have to wait for a position in order to start having influence with other people. This is something that really gets a lot of people hung up, even as they're especially in their first journey. A level 1 leader, people will just do whatever the bare minimum. They study intensely. How could I do the least amount of effort and still kind of pass by, or still kind of qualify for what's only expected of me? Nothing more, nothing less. And the level 1 leader finds it very difficult to engage the people in the common vision or the dream or the goal that they're collectively going towards. The level 1 leader has a very difficult time of encouraging people to take action or take ownership or to be interested, and they feel very disconnected from the people because the level 1 leader thinks that because I have the position or the title, therefore I'm the leader here, so they try to get people to do based on the merit of their title, and that it doesn't work that way. So this is the lowest level of leadership, but that at some point we have to grow from positional leader to a level 2 leader. And who would like to share? Who remembers what a level 2 leader is?
What's that start with?
They all start with a P.
Persuasion. Permission.
Permission. Yes. This is based on relationships. People follow a level 2 leader because they want to. They want to follow a level 2 leader. Level 2 leadership is the foundation of all leadership is built around relationships. In fact, when we look at Luke chapter 2, verse 52, we can see that Jesus developed in his leadership even as a child. Can I get a volunteer to read Luke 2:52 for us?
And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and favor with God and man.
What does that mean to increase in favor with God and man?
Well, I think it means that that he grew to be liked by God and man. He didn't naturally have it, and it started a little bit and then it increased.
Yeah. It's like my favorite verse in the Bible, Luke 16:10. He that is faithful in that which is least. And what is it that we're talking about right now? We're talking about relationships. These are relationships. And even Jesus was faithful with the few relationships that he had as a child, and as he was faithful in that which is least, he would be faithful also in much. He started having much more relationships as he grew older. He grew in favor with God and man, and it's as we are connecting ourselves to Christ, as we are seeking to understand his will and plans for our purpose for our lives, and we're applying these things to our life. It is through our association with Christ, then and only then can our influence be a proper influence on the relationships that we have with others. So this is this is a level 2 leader. A lot of times when laboring together, this is something I really want to encourage those who are working together in ministry, who are working together in an entrepreneurial endeavor or in an organization, even, and when I say organization, this could even be a family. Your families are together. There's a lot of parents who feel that just because I am a father, therefore my child needs to love and respect and do what I say. But how often do we look at the people within our own family as souls that actually have to be one to Christ, as hearts and individuals who have wants and needs and unique personalities that need to be drawn to Jesus and presented at the foot of the cross? When we don't take for granted that we have a right to a lot of these things, and especially when they're younger, when they're really younger, you can start demanding certain things while they're younger, but as they're starting to get older in teenage years, people still try to treat teenagers the same way they treat 5-year-olds, and it doesn't work out very well. So there's a lot of
causes resentment.
Yeah, causes a lot of resentment, rebellious, and people want to push back. You push me, I'll push you back. Yeah. That's what the problem that a lot of parents are facing. But the case is, again and again, we need to seek to develop a relationship. The question is, Do you have a strong relationship with everyone who you work with? Do you have a strong relationship with everyone on your team, with everyone in your, if your organization is small, or in your church, or in your family, your church family? That is a question to ask, because if you're not building relationships with them, then you really haven't gone from the first level of leadership, the lowest level, to the second level. This is foundational, which is why during these leadership tables we have been focusing so much on building relationships and what we can do to help that. Do you think we can move this camera a little bit so I'm not, so I could like stand somewhere where I'm not blocking this? Would it be better if I'm like over here? Are you still able to see all that? Yeah. Okay. Okay, good, thank you. So level 2 leader is building relationships, and in order to develop a relationship with people, we have to learn some listening skills. We have to learn to become genuinely interested in other people, as Philippians chapter 2 and verse 4 says. It's a very powerful verse. Can I get a volunteer on Discord to read Philippians chapter 2 verse 4 for us? Philippians 2:4. Let's look at what is one of the best ways to start developing relationships with others. Thank you, Leah. Leah, if you're speaking, I can't hear you. Maybe your microphone isn't connected, because you're unmuted, but we still can't hear you. Can I get another volunteer to read Philippians 2:4? What about you, Angela? Do you have it? Carmen, would you like to read for us? I see that Sherry, Angela, and Leah are all unmuted, but I can't hear from any of them. Could it be that the problem is on us? Oh, there you go.
It's working now.
Oh,
Can
good.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear Angela and Sherry. Angela, would you like to read Philippians 2, verse 4 through 5?
I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus.
Amen. So, Angela, what does that mean as it relates to building relationships with others?
That we should be taking an interest in others and helping them.
Definitely. Yeah. We have to, a lot of times when we speak to people, we have a problem in our interactions, is that we're constantly focused on how can I be interesting. And as long as we're focusing on ourselves and all the interesting things that I do and the interesting things that I'm about, then we're not really going to be able to gain their interest. It's kind of interesting because Job talks about how the thing that I feared, it came upon me. And by being afraid of not being interesting and trying to be interesting, we actually create the thing that we're afraid of. which is amazing. You could see that applied in so many different areas.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, so, but an amazing thing happens, a divine thing happens. As you could see, this is the mind of Christ, who thought it not robbery, who being in the form of God, thought it not robbery to be equal with God. So the way that God works is being intensely interested in the souls of others, being intensely interested in others. And by doing that, we all find that God's love to be one of the most beautiful like themes that we can study, that we can hear, that we can understand, the greatest song ever sang, and the conversation ever had, the sermon ever preached. I mean, it's just that genuine interest. So in like manner, when we listen to others, that makes a huge impact on their lives as well. So, and if you guys want to pitch in or to share something, ask a question. We're going to open this one up a little bit more so that you can do that too. Just unmute yourself and I'll call on you. So level 2 is permission. People follow you because they want to, because you've developed relationships with them. Level 3 leader.
Level 2 is people follow you because what you have done for the organization.
That's not true.
Okay.
So level 2 is that people follow you because they want to, because they developed a relationship with them. Level 3 is, does anyone have a guess?
Production.
I'm not asking you, Mom,
Okay.
because it's not really a guess. You're looking at the notes.
Yeah.
And so Mom said it was production. And production is this is based on the results. This level 3 leader is that people follow you based on what you've done for the organization. This is because of how much you've been able to produce, how productive you have been, the results that you have gotten consistently on a daily basis, how you've been able to solve problems, handle big tasks and projects and get them done consistently. You're reliable. You have systems that allow you to operate at a very high level. You're not constantly trying to reinvent the wheel, but you've got a method, you've got a process, you've got a system, and you follow that consistently. You're a very reliable person. You set goals for yourself, and you're not waiting for other people to set them for you, but you're managing your time well. This is something that helps you to build the momentum, because as leaders, we really need to be training our minds to be thinking in terms of intangibles like the big picture, or like momentum, like morale, or the culture. These are the types of things that we need to be really intentional and be thinking about. The more that we can start seeing these through the lens of these subjects, they can help us tremendously to make a bigger impact on the organization and the common goal and the direction that we're moving in together. But the production is just basically it's your ability to get things done, work with others, and so that's a level 3 leader, and this was really eye-opening when I was starting to understand some of these things. We can look at a level 4 leader. This level 4 leader, again, it starts with a P. Who would like to guess what what is a level 4 leader? This is people development. Level 4 leader, I realize the greatest return on investment that we possibly have as a leader is by investing in other people. It's the people that we invest in, the people that we work with, the people that we help. This is what makes a huge difference. And this is, as a level 4 leader, people follow you because of what you have done for them, how you have poured into their life and you have helped them. This is where reproduction happens. This is where you're reproducing other leaders. This is what Jesus called discipleship. This is when we're discipling others and we're helping them to get the results that we've got. We're helping them to develop or to produce the same things that we have, to accomplish what we've done. It's when we're taking people under our wings and we're just simply taking them with us on the journey and we're showing others how to do what we do. This makes a tremendous difference. You know, when I was going over the 5 levels of leadership, there was something that I was trying to understand where I was at, and as I'm like going through this quiz, there is actually I was going over this and it was showing me, as a level 4 leader, these are the type of things that you have to be doing. And I realized, I'm like, oh, I was not doing them. Like, one of them was that I consistently stretch people and give them opportunities that stretch their abilities. And I was like, ooh, like I don't really stretch anyone. I never even thought about stretching other people. That was like a new concept to me. But through understanding this framework, I was like, okay, I'm going to start stretching people. And I started stretching people and helping them and creating a safety net so that in case they do fall, they wouldn't fall too hard, it would be safe. But that stretching helped them to trust me more and help me to be able to help them to grow and develop even more. Yes?
And it's amazing that when you do that, then more people come to you and you have more opportunity to do that. And people grow quickly.
And exactly. And a lot of times people think like that people don't want to be stretched or people don't want to be challenged, but in all reality, it's like people respect those who challenge them and who help them to grow and who help them to stretch. People love those who help them to stretch and when they're safety. But the risk that is involved with stretching people is if you stretch them and then they fail and you're not there to help them in that time, then you run the risk of you'll actually lose more influence with that person than before. But if you do stretch them and then they succeed because of your encouragement, then you've gained far more influence with them. So there's many good things. They take risks, but the pros far outweigh the cons. And it is something that it's a sobering fact, but I began to realize like I wasn't stretching people, and then I started stretching people, and then it's like, wow, the church was growing, and the people I was involved with was making a really big difference.
They're happier too.
They're a lot happier. There's this, these 5 levels of leadership, forgot to mention, these come from a guy named John Maxwell. He wrote a book on this, and he has some videos on this on YouTube that are super helpful. One thing that this framework that he taught about equipping people that I thought was really powerful, I really enjoyed it, is it was 5 steps to equip people. And it was number 1, I do it, because you can't teach someone something that you haven't done. We have to go out and we have to do the thing before we start teaching other people how to do what we've done. So number 1 is I do it. Number 2 is I do it and you're with me. It's very similar to the see one, do one, teach one that many of us are familiar with. But I do it and you do it with me. I'll be your mentor. You just observe, kind of like what we call a partner assistant. Be my partner, you assist, shadow me, and I'll show you how to do this. And then you'll be able to ask me questions. You'll see me in different situations, and we'll figure this out. Number 3 is you do it. Now I'm with you. I'm watching you. I'm helping to tweak you, giving you some feedback. I'm helping you get better. I'm really fine-tuning your abilities. But you're doing it, and now I'm with you. So that's number 3. Step number 4 is you do it. You don't need me anymore. So you do it well enough. You could do it without me. And many people think that equipping people stops here, that this is the end of the journey, but that's not true. It's absolutely not true. And this is one of my favorite parts, that he has this 5th step. And the 5th step was, now you do it with someone else. And this, when you start doing it with someone else, that's the equipping. And you start training someone else how to do what you've just learned or what I've just trained you, then this is where compounding begins, and this ability to have exponential growth really starts to take on, and it makes a tremendous difference. Where this is level 4 leadership, this is developing people, and the greatest return on investment that we have is developing in other leaders and helping them to grow, helping them to develop. I really like in 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2, Paul worked on this principle of developing leaders. Sherry, would you like to read this one for us? 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2. Second Timothy 2:2.
Yeah.
Can we turn her up? Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Now I can.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to tell others also.
All right. So here we see 4 generations of leaders right in this verse. And verse 3, I like how it summarizes, says, thou therefore. Now, what does the word therefore mean? Because of this. So because of what? Because of what he just said in verse 2. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Jesus Christ. So is developing people hard? Yes, it is definitely. It's one of the hardest things that you'll probably ever do in your life, but it's one of the best things that you'll probably ever do in your life. And when you really look at it, what is the only thing that we're going to take to heaven?
Our character.
Yes, our character. Rebecca, I see you unmute yourself. Did you want to share something? Or were you just unmuting yourself? Okay.
We're going to take people.
Yes. The only thing that we're going to take is our character. And so the character that we develop right now, what we're talking about in dealing with these 5 levels of leadership, we're really talking about these different 5 levels of our character. These are different advancements of our character, of how we're becoming more and more to the character of Christ. Because who is the greatest leader of the universe? It's Jesus. Who's the greatest leader of the world? The most influential book ever written was the Word of Christ. The Bible. This is the most influential. So as we're developing as leaders, we're developing it as followers of Christ, following his examples. So the only thing that we're bringing to heaven is our character, and but beyond that, when Jesus says, store not your treasures on earth, but store them up in heaven, how do we store treasures in heaven?
Bringing people.
By bringing people. It's the people that we developed here on earth. It's the people that we sowed into. It's the people that we helped to develop their leadership potential, their character. And those are the great riches and the treasures that we're going to have in heaven. It is souls in the kingdom as a result of your influence. So when you understand leadership development in the biblical sense, you begin to realize this is one thing that we can do now that we will not be able to do in heaven. And that is influencing others, winning souls to eternity through your influence. I don't know of any single greater skill that you can commit to learning than the skill of influence and tapping into leverage. Because if you could understand leverage, then you could take any cause, any message, any skill, any talent, anything that you have that matters to you, and you can multiply that. There is no limits to what we could do together, but by myself, I am extremely limited to what I'm able to do. And there is very few things that I could do just as a level 3 leader. I could produce a certain amount, and there's only so many results I can have. But when developing people, then it just explodes. So I really like the way that Paul did it. Paul was one of the best evangelists and preachers. He had a different way. He had a different approach than what many of us do. Paul developed people. And in verse 2, 2 Timothy 2:2, who was Paul speaking to? Well, what book is this found in? Timothy. So Paul was speaking to Timothy. It says, the things which thou hast heard of me, that's Paul, and speaking to Timothy, he says, the same commit thou to who?
Faithful men.
Yes, faithful men. Faithful men. And then what were those faithful men going to do with it?
They're going to teach others.
They're going to teach others also. Absolutely. So this is 4 generations of leadership here that Paul is teaching. There is something that in studying different sales organizations, in studying different churches, studying different leadership structures, and just like things that have grown drastically, they've all followed the same biblical pattern. There's something about this 4 generations that makes a huge difference. Even in the 10 Commandments, you see that God shows mercy, or he visits the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation of them that love me, or of them that hate me. And he shows mercy to thousands of them that love him and keeps his commandments. But this 4 generations is really powerful. What this would look like is if, like for instance, let's say that I'll give an example. I'm teaching. I'm teaching Tina how to do some, like, let's say small groups. So I'm teaching Tina how to do small groups. She's leading out. She's giving Bible studies, and then Tina is teaching Leah how to do Bible studies, and then Leah is going to be working with Leah. Who's your partner when you split? Oh, she can't really speak. Oh, yeah, you can.
I think it's Sister Zelda. Zelda.
Okay, cool. So then Leah now teaches Zelda, and there you have, there's 4 generations. So I am responsible not to so much to teach Zelda, but I'm responsible to train Tina, to make sure Tina understands how to train Leah. And it doesn't end just there. I'm making sure that Tina knows how to train Leah how to train Zelda. That this is my responsibility, these 4 generations. And when we understand this, then this is like the 4th generation is like the point of infinite growth. There's no limit when that culture can be created and people are constantly thinking not just on the things of themselves, not even just on the things of others, but the things of 4 generation. Then you see that there's no limit to the leaders that could be developed and the growth that could take place because it's following in that pattern of developing people. This is a huge concept. I really want us to see this. So I want to ask you, who are your 4 generations of leaders? Who are the 4 generations who you are taking under your wing that you are helping to influence? Because all of us have influence. Every man, woman, and child. But the question is, are we being intentional about using that influence to lead others to Jesus? How many people do we want to see in the kingdom?
All of them.
How many people do we want to help to enter the kingdom? And do we want to help influence? You can do that. And you can influence so many more by developing people and helping to reproduce other gospel soldiers. And that's part of the reason why the Army of Youth exists, is because we realize there's so many different ministries, there's so many different avenues and outlets, there's possibilities all around, and we can't possibly do every single one of those different avenues for evangelism as ministry. So what we figure is, why not create a ministry that helps other ministries to do their work better, so that we could be like a catalyst or a springboard, or we could be the spark of inspiration that they had to dedicate their life to that service or that avenue or that path or that method, and recognizing that there's diversity in gifts. So then we can coach them, we can give them some principles that could apply across the board to help them to be more successful in the calling that God has placed upon their lives. And when we realize that, then we can start influencing the influencers. We can train the trainers. We can help those who are helping others, rather than trying to take on all the stuff ourselves. Then that doesn't work as well. Yes?
Imagine if everybody was at that mentality right now, just to do that. How soon God would come.
Yeah.
Jesus would come.
Christ would come very soon.
Yeah.
That's so true. So as level 4 leaders, they're developing people. They're reproducing others. God said, be fruitful and multiply, replenish the whole earth. Be not deceived. Disciples make disciples. If you're not discipling others, then you're really not following the Great Commission, or like under that discipleship or the example, following in the footsteps of Christ, because He has commissioned all of us to be discipling those around us and using our talents for the Lord's service and helping those. But you're here because you are seeking to disciple. You are seeking to use your influence for others, and so you're ahead of the game already, and you're right where God has you. I don't believe it's coincidence that you're here right now, going through these 5 levels of leadership. So we've looked at 1, which was position. People follow you because they have to. And then 2, it's permission. People follow you because they want to. 3 is production. People follow you because of the results that you have helped, what you have done for the organization. And 4 is people development. People follow you because what you have done for them. It's a beautiful thing. And then level 5, who would like to take a guess at a level 5 leader? What is this? They all start with a P.
Oh, it's the pinnacle.
Pinnacle. What about the R?
Reputation.
So close.
Respect.
Respect. You got it. So pinnacle, this is a level 5 leader. this is the highest level of leadership. This is when people are looking for your counsel outside of your area of expertise or your niche or your specific organization. It's when other organizations are coming to you and seeking, how can I do what you've done? How could we have these things? And this is where they follow you because of who you are and what you've contributed and what you represent. This is a level 5 leader. So probably at this point, you're likely asking yourself, well, I wonder what level of leader I am. And you'll find that as you continue to study into these 5 levels of leadership, you're going to see that you are on a different level with each person that you are connected with and you labor with. So if you go to one person, you might be at a 3. If you go to another, they might be at a 4. You go to another, you might be at a 1. But it is good to know you're at a different level for each person. So one exercise that you could do, which is very good, is in your mind you can go through each of the people that you work with, that you labor together with. It could be for-profit, non-profit endeavor. It could be your family. You could see what level of leadership, what level am I on with this individual? Because remember, leadership is influence. So what level of influence do I have? Which of these 5 with that person? And then go to the next person. What level am I on with that person? Go to the next person. What level am I on with that person? And when you do this, it's going to show you exactly what it's going to take in order for you to get to the next level with that individual. This isn't an exact science. This is kind of this is just kind of a ballpark idea, but this is a very eye-opening exercise when you begin to realize, and you could even start be faithful in that which is least. Start with the people nearest you, and you could see what level am I on with them, and then expand a little bit more, and you're like, what level am I on with them? And you could see, you're like, oh, we get to see where we have room to grow. Like Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. He had to grow too. So you're in good company if you see that there is room that you need to improve. Practice.
I'm 55 and I'm still practicing.
That's right. And we all get to practice this. It's the fun part. And we're in a safe environment. We can practice on each other. We can learn and grow. There's another thing that was really helpful about these 5 levels of leadership is once you realize that you're on a different level with each person, then when you go to cast vision, when you go to activate people for service, or you want people to do something, or you want people to accept what you have to offer, whether it's a decision, whether it's taking an action, accepting an idea that you're offering, or it could be a product or a service that you're offering, whatever the case is that you're trying to share with someone else, just know whenever you're casting vision, people do not see you as a person. They see you through the lens of one of these 5 levels of leadership. Every time you're casting vision, it is different for each individual. Depending on what level of leadership you are with that individual will determine how they hear it. You can say the exact same speech, the same words, the same script, the same compelling vision with one person. They'd be like, yes, let's take on the world, let's go. And they're willing to unite all the resources for the same cause. And you could take a second person who you're at a lower level with, they can hear the same words at the same time. And they could be like, yeah, I don't know about that. What about this? What about that? And they're just not interested in what you're offering. But the reason why is because you're at a lower level of leadership with that individual. And so what we want to do is we want to be asking, how can I increase the level of leadership I am with each of the people that I come in contact with. And it's for the purpose of helping to serve them at a higher level, to be able to help lead them to Christ, to be able to help solve more of their problems, to strengthen their give them opportunities to develop a character that will bring them more joy and peace, happiness. As Christ said, I am come that you might have life more abundantly. And we got to ask, if we want to develop the character of Christ, why are we coming into contact with other people? Why are we showing up in their lives? Are we coming in contact with others so that they can have life and have life more abundantly? Are we helping them to level up in their life? We definitely want to be thinking about these things. So in summary, again, these 5 levels of leadership is number 1. What is it?
Position.
It's position, and this is people follow you. This is the lowest level of leadership. Is you have a title, you have a position. People follow you because they have to. Level 2 is permission. This is built on what?
Relationships.
This is built on relationships. This is that people follow you because they want to. And level 3 is production. This is based on the results. This is people follow you because of what you have done for the organization. And level 4 leader is people development. This is when you start to reproduce leaders and others. This is why people follow you because of what you have done for them. And level 5 is pinnacle. This is respect. This is when people follow you because of who you are and what you stand for. And this is really huge. When we begin to understand this, then it makes a huge difference. Are we still live?
Yeah.
Were we recording?
We're live and recording.
Oh, cool. So one thing that I would highly encourage you is we put together a leadership assessment. There is a really cool tool that you can get. What we like to do at the Army of Youth is every quarter we encourage our leaders to go through and to assess themselves on these 5 levels to see what level are we in. And all you do is you go through a series of questions or statements really, and it's either yes or no, true or false. If this is true, you hit yes. If it's not, you hit no. The only way for you to advance is if you say yes to every single box in this level. In order for you to get to the next level, you have to say yes. If you're missing one, you're not ready to go to the next level. So this is a self-assessment test that helps you to identify exactly what level are you on, and it shows you what do you need to do in order to advance to get to the next level. I can't tell you out of like all of the different leadership resources that I've gone through, which have been many in the last 4 or so years. This has probably been one of the greatest help over the longest term, because when I found this, it really clarified any confusion, or when I get stuck at an obstacle and it's like I'm hitting a brick wall and I'm like, I don't know how to move forward. It just like it pierces through and it shows exactly what needs to be done so that I'm able to move forward, and it makes a huge difference. So we have this available. It's going to be on a Google form that you can go through, and it should be able to email this over, or it should be able to email you the results so that you can see what happens as well, and it should work out. We'll put a link down below so that you can access it, Lord willing. And I'd encourage you every quarter, integrate it as part of the systems, because a level 4 leader, it says that I have systems that allow me, level 3 leader, I have systems and routines that help me to perform at a very high level. And one of the systems I would highly encourage is every 3 months to go through this leadership assessment, and you can see for yourself what are the steps necessary for you to get to the next level. And it's encouraging because over the months we grow, but we don't always see the progress. And this allows you to compare yourself from where you were 3 months ago, and you check in, and it's so encouraging to be like, wow, the problems I'm facing now were not the same problems I was facing yesterday or 3 months ago. And each 3 months you start to get further and further as you progress along this leadership journey. This is a tool this is an invaluable tool. And I am super excited to be able to get this to you. Just click on the link below and we'll give you access to that training. And I hope that this leadership table has been helpful for you to understand more of these 5 levels of leadership and know how you can strengthen your relationship with others. I did this because we're at the end of the quarter now. This week would be the perfect time to go through the assessment, and then we could take a look later. And I look forward to seeing you every week. Monday morning we get on a program called Discord that you are welcome to participate and to discuss with us at this leadership table. It's an open invitation for any organization, any team, any ministry, entrepreneur endeavor, so that you can learn some of the leadership skills that are necessary in order to take your influence, your impact, your income to the next level through making a greater difference in the lives of those around you, and being intentional to use your relationships to lead others to Christ. So until next time, remember, God doesn't call the qualified, He qualifies the called.